Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you match 42 in my Age of Empires 3 series. Earlier today, I uploaded a video, 2v2 with Japan, and even though we won, I just said I didn't have a grasp of Japan, and I didn't know how to do it, and I said I was going to look it up, and I was going to learn, and I was going to become better, and that's what I've done, actually. I spent the last hour or so really kind of reading up on the Japanese strategies and how to play Japan, and now I have such a good hand on Japan. And the thing that I was doing wrong with Japan was I was trying to play them my way instead of playing them the way Japan should be appropriately played. And the thing is, with Japan, I like to play as a player. I like to mass units, simple, big, powerful rush. That's why I like Russia and those kinds of civilization. Japan is not about those a big, powerful rush. Japan is not about sending a 17 Sterlet card. Japan's amazing strength as a civilization is in its economy, it's in its boom. So that's actually the thing I learned, I guess. The kind of deception about Japan is the fact that Japan's strength doesn't lie in its cards that it can send twice. In fact, you should have as few of those in your deck as possible. You may notice here I made another Japanese home city level 100. That way I could just have complete freedom to rebuild the decks and choose the cards just because I ran out and I couldn't get a few that I needed. But all that to say, I learned Japan. Now you might notice here right off the beginning of the game, I have my villagers split on food and wood, and the reason why I have them split is I need 307 wood exactly. That being said, it's because I need to build a consulate as soon as possible. It turns out I've been missing the most important part of Japanese strategy. The consulate and the Portuguese ally from the consulate is absolutely vital to Japan. But before I get into that, let me say here, it's also very vital with Japan, if possible, to find villager treasures. I found a villager treasure right there. I'm going to get both explorers there to gather it as soon as possible. It's actually quite vital with Japan to gather villagers. Now, let me go in a little bit broad overview of my strategy as I play the game here, and I do make a little bit of a mistake that I'll point out, but the point behind this strategy is simple. You start off the game, you get scout out for herds. Your goal is to get the heavenly Hami? I'm going to say it's heavenly Hami card, even though it's a K, I bet it's pronounced like an H. You send the heavenly Hami card as soon as possible, and you start building shrines all over the map, and boom, with Japan using your economy. Now, I kind of screwed up here because I already have more villagers than I'm having an idle pillager making villagers. I do not have the shrine built up when I could, or I should have had it built, and I don't know if it's because I got my shipment fast, or I was just a little bit faster on the upkeep, or I'm not quite sure what happened, but I should have been building a shrine already. I'm going to do it now before I have the heavenly card, which actually is going to end up costing me an extra 30 wood in terms of building that first shrine. But your basic plan here is simple. It's to get your consulate up as fast as possible, pick the Portuguese as your ally, which is going to make your shrines cheaper. Then that'll mean your aging wonder will only cost 680 food as opposed to 800. That's saving you 120, which means you can age faster, making up the lost time. Make villagers while aging in transition to the second age, right? But what you're going to do is you're going to leave 6 on food and put all your new villagers that you can make onto wood, and then you're going to just start throwing shrines down all over the map because they only cost 70 or so a population. Now, this is going to be really interesting here. Notice, by the way, I didn't put any villagers on my wonder. Now, in order to age in the equivalent of normal European time, you need to have 4 villagers on the wonder. However, because it's a French player and I'm not expecting a fast rush and I'm not feeling threatened, I am actually not going to put any villagers on it. I'm actually going to put all my villagers straight into economy, and that's mainly just because I think I messed up by having some dead idle time. I'm not sure if you're supposed to have that idle time with your town center or not. So all that to say, while you're aging, 6 villagers on food, the rest and the ones being made go onto wood. You build new shrines. Ideally, what you're supposed to do, from what I read, is you're supposed to split up your monks and have them go into different herds and shrining as fast as possible. So you notice here, I'm starting to do that. I'm getting shrines built up and I'm getting villagers pumped out. A little bit of mistake there on my part in terms of having an idle period, but not too bad. As you can see, my second monk is reaching the second herd just as I'm about to get the 75 wood I need to make a shrine. And here we go, I'm going to start doing it, and you're actually going to watch me this game. I'm going to pretty much shrine up a ton of the herdables on the map, which is simply fantastic. Now, the other thing I asked is, I said, well, when you're Japan, when do you use the market upgrades? I just didn't understand. This is the way you use market upgrades from the best I've been able to understand. After you age up, your goal is to First card, Heavenly Cami, so you do send a first age card. By the way, when I look at his home city here, I realize that he's likely going to a fast fortress or a modified fast fortress with some Hussar. Either of those strategies is viable. I'm not actually expecting a Hussar rush because I know that on Japan is pretty much assumed that I'm going to make Ashigarus, so I'm not really stressed out about it. Notice here, by the way, I'm switching my production to them on food. That's just because I'm having a pretty heavy amount of shrines right now, so I'm not too stressed out about production. Notice now my first card in the second colonial age though is actually going to be the 600 wood. My big goal here is to use that wood to build another barracks, have a dual barrack spam going, and then just start pumping out units however I want. Now the thing with Japan is you want most of your cards to be long-term cards. You want them to be cards that have a long-term benefit. You only want to use short-term cards as a short-term sponge or as an economic booster. Notice, by the way, I'm still frantically going around the map throwing down shrines wherever I can. Notice my next card after that is actually was going to be 5 Yumi, but the proper build order that I saw in general is actually supposed to be Heavenly, Hami, and First Age, which I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Then you send the 600 wood, then 4 villagers, and then you can send units if you need or something else. And the goal is to be able to make units out of your barracks in order to protect yourself. Notice here I got the 600 wood gathered and I'm going to start collecting it. That's actually going to give me a huge amount of resources. I also bought the first upgrade at the market, and I think I started talking about the market and I lost track of it. But what you do with the market is your goal is to buy the first food upgrade, the second food upgrade, the first overall upgrade, and then the mining upgrade in that order. It's kind of precise for actually the necessary for the situation it's in. Now, as you notice here, if it was a really fast rush, I'd probably be in a little bit of trouble here, but it's not a super fast rush. Now, also notice that if I was in a fast rush, I could have definitely sent 10 units from my home city to Sponge. I didn't necessarily need to send the 600 wood, and I most definitely did not need to send 2 sets of 4 villagers. However, if possible, you want to be able to move around the map and really take economic control with your shrines and really take advantage of the thing you have, or that is the main bonus, that is being of course the shrines. Now I did kind of mess it up here. I really should have had more units on the field. However, the fact he hasn't attacked at this point pretty much confirms he's fast fortressing, which means I might actually be able to just straight up head-to-head beat him, even though he's going to have a fortress age military, because the whole point of the fortress age military is to get to the fortress age, have a really strong army, and then smash everything. But even though I'm going to age, even though I'm going to be behind him a little bit in terms of what I do, even though I'm going to be behind him, I'm going to be able to just pump out units continually is kind of the plan. Notice here, by the way, no housing problems, economy-wise, absolutely decimated. I'm not using hotkeys though this game like I should be, but that was partially because I was a little bit distracted by the new strategy I was trying, and I have a pitiful amount of men for the time of the game I'm in. Again, I'm playing this because I know I'm not being rushed. If you were under heavy pressure, you would villager garrison fire, you would probably send military units. I know that I'm not under trouble, not likely to be attacked for another minute or so, and so the goal point here is really to take advantage of Japanese shrine booming. It's a really fun strategy to use. I really enjoyed it. It really feels like I'm utilizing Japan. Notice, by the way, I've eaten, or I've at least have all the herds on the map at my shrines, and here I'm going to send 5 Yumi archers. I'm actually freaking out at this point. I'm like, oh no, my army is really pathetically bad. But at this point in the game, I'm actually pretty much able now to build as many units as I want, more or less. I have 18 on food, 9 on gold, 3 on wood, 8 minutes into the game, and I can pretty much now from now on maintain a pretty steady flow of Ashigarus from my town center, and that's actually gonna pick up. I did make a little bit of a mistake there. I think I should have bought the next food upgrade first, but I did not. But as you can see here, we have a pretty big bulk now of Ashigarus coming out. I believe that's 10. Yep, and now we're going to have more coming. By the way, I always tend to select one at a time. And the reason why I do that is I don't want to overburden my economy. I want to make sure that I can always keep up a steady villager flow. I'm going to add those Yumi archers to my thing. And now here he is. He's hitting the fortress age. Cannon, cavalry are going to be expected. Not cavalry, I'm sorry. Cavalry is to be expected, but I know that that's not going to be too big of a threat. Now I'm going to actually scout him out here to see what he has. I'm going to do my favorite thing. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to see what he has. When something starts to engage me, poof, cloud of smoke. Honestly, that's my absolute favorite thing to do in this game. And I then disappear. I see he has a pretty good massive musketeer, so he was clearly prepared against a rush. I didn't put any pressure on him, so he then decided to go bump straight to the fortress age, which from his perspective, definitely the right choice to be made. I, at this point, though, am freaking out. I'm like, oh no, I most definitely need to get some cavalry out on the field. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send my Daimo now, I believe it's pronounced. I'm going to send my Daimo. That way I can get a really strong mobile barracks going and boost my unit's attacks. Also notice I'm going to be switching my Japanese unit, or my Japanese consulate ally to Japanese from Portuguese. I'm sorry, I don't know why that was so complicated. And notice here, we're pretty much now pumping out Ashigaru with impunity, and this means that once we actually start engaging, he's going to be in trouble. Notice that my score, even though it was initially lower, is really starting to balloon, and I'm going to grab the trading post, and I'm really going to start to just kind of blossom in terms of map control. Now, at this point in the game, now that I've sent the cards that I need to, the card choices you look at is you look at Ashigaru attack. There's 2 cards you can send there, and the other card you look at right now, the card I'm actually going to send right before the end of the game. Spoilers, by the way. Well, not too many, but the card I'm going to send is 2 berry bushes. You can send that twice. That is one card you want, especially on a map like this where you normally cannot send a bunch. Now, here we go. We're definitely engaging, but look at the massive amount of men I have relative to him. Now, I do something really stupid here. I try to use my Daimo to go melee his cannon, thinking this is going to be great, but it ends up doing absolutely nothing, and then I realized, well, that did nothing, but fortunately it worked well. I was able to get him in there. He was able to sponge a huge amount of damage, and he was able to keep those cannons off my units for the most part, and actually we're able to pretty much just eat through everything he has, and even though his cannons are still alive and kicking, it looks like we're actually going to be able to straight out kill them with the just the infantry we have on the field, which is just simply phenomenal. Does he have 2 or 3 cannons? He has 2 cannons. We were able to kill them both. We're able to push, and here, as you can see, we're able to make more Ashigaru. Now, notice we have 16 villagers idle at the end, and that was, of course, because we ran out of berry bushes. Notice I'm going to put them on wood. I'm going to send the 2 berry bushes card, and I'm going to actually switch my shrines over to food. Now, what you should do, and what I'm going to do in the future, is I'm going to hotkey the shrines. That way I can just easily switch to them. But notice at this point, even with no villager on food, pretty much, we were in a great shape. If we had sent the berry bushes like we already should have and had them set up, we would have had no problem. We could have just kept pumping out units. We simply smashed his army and really could have kept going for days. We had over 1,000 gold in stockpile. The initial phase of weakness is actually a very dangerous spot to be in. You definitely have to micromanage your town center fire, popping villagers in and out, using a meat shield, being very clever, and possibly even sending some Yumi archers from your home city. But in the long run, the key to Japan, I've learned in the last few hours, is their economy, and is using shrines well, making sure you age up with the Kami card and the Portuguese ally from the consulate, and really just taking advantage of their wonderful economy, which allows them to spend Ashigarus, and then using long-term cards that really benefit that. And as you can see, we were able to pull off a victory with that. So, all that to say, I'm sorry. I posted this video which actually talked about their military and their economy before I saw any of your guys' comments on the other videos, if you guys post any, and I'm really sorry. I was just it was on my mind, and I wanted to learn how to play Japan well, so I really kind of jumped into it, and I made a really quick effort to learn how to play Japan well, and that's how you do. Notice we were really able to pretty much eat up every herd except the one herd he was eating on Great Plains, which was fantastic. Granted, this was an unrated game, by the way. If you notice at the beginning, it does say free for all, so it was a little bit of an unrated quick match we had. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is actually the proper way to play Japan, I guess. Much better than my other 2 videos where I was just really playing like a major noob with them, and it was really good to be able to improve and play a lot better. Now, today's quote of the day, also from The Art of War, and Sun Tzu says, "Thus it is in war. The victorious strategist only seeks battle after victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for victory." Ladies and gentlemen, this is BTM, and until next time, good luck and happy hunting.